Hey, what's good, everybody? Just coming to let you know about the games that went on yesterday, some really good ones. So we're just gonna recap the games that we went over yesterday. Tell you some of the plays and some of the players who had some really good games, and just let you know how we did as far as winning and losing. Okay, so some of the games that we said we was going to talk about was the Suns in Brooklyn, the Timberwolves and the Mavericks, the Jazz and the Thunder, the Pistons and the Hawks, the Hornets and the Grizzlies, and the Bucks and the Pelicans. And then there was two other games that I didn't get to talk about, which was the Warriors and the Kings, and I believe it was the Lakers. And I'm not even sure who that is playing. I gotta look again. But let's get started with the Hawks versus the Pistons. This is one of the games where I was extremely right in. Uh, the Pistons came out and they basically handled business. You know what I mean? I think that Cade Cunningham is turning into a superstar. And I think that becoming a superstar means that you are able to lead your team past teams that aren't as good as you. You know what I mean? So you could go out there and literally get the job done, help your team solidify victory, and keep helping your team basically ease their way into playoff position, especially with teams like that. When you're trying to build a new culture and you're trying to really just turn the tides of the ship. They've been losing for a while now. They're getting it going. Cade is killing. I've told you. And this is the other thing. When you're watching those games, for you guards who are 6 foot, you know what I mean, 6'2", 6'3", you need to get your handle up because this boy is about 6'7", and he's out there handling it, shooting it, making the right passes, looking real nice off that handle. So, with that being said, let's get our game right. You feel me? Uh, well, anyways, Cade ended with 29 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, and he played 34 minutes. The Pistons basically smoked the Hawks. Trae Young didn't do very much of anything. It was pretty much a dominant performance by the Pistons. You know what I mean? They're a young team. They're going to keep getting better. I think that that's somebody who you young people can really latch on to and kind of grow with. All right, the next game of the day was the Suns versus Brooklyn. And once again, we called that too. Off top, I felt like Brooklyn has a nice roster. I said that yesterday. But I felt like the Suns was going to win the game due to like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And just like I said, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they pulled through. KD had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. You know what I mean? Had a solid game. And then Devin Booker backs him up with 32 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. I turned the game on for a second, but I was really just coming back in from our workout, so I didn't get to see much of this one. But it looked like it looked like the Suns was holding it down pretty easily. You know what I mean? It looked like they had the game in hand pretty much the whole time. So that was another good call. You feel me? When you're calling these games in the league, just kind of got to pay attention to the consistency in which players do things. You already know Kevin Durant is an extremely efficient scorer, and we know Devin Booker, you know what he's about as well. Really great players went out there, they showed what they could do, they held it down, did their thing, came out with the victory. The Timberwolves versus the Mavs. I actually got to see a little bit of this game because we was just making it back in. Somebody who stepped up big time for the Timberwolves was Jaden McDaniels, and you know, he had 27 points. The team itself, they were pretty good. They were balanced. A lot of guys actually ended up scoring. Anthony Edwards had a pretty good game. This game stayed close throughout the entirety of it, all the way to the very end. The Timberwolves ended up only winning by 1 point. But from the other team, there was some good play. You know what I mean? PJ Washington had 30 points. He was doing a great job of attacking the rim and finishing at the rim, getting to the rim off the bounce, just making shots in general, being prepared to play the game. And then Kyrie came out and was Kyrie. You know what I mean? When I watched the game, he did a great job of breaking down his defender out in front, getting into the lane, finding people for open shots. It didn't always turn into them scoring the ball, but it was great to watch. You know what I mean? It was fun to watch. Kyrie's got crazy handle. He's super slippery, great finisher, but they just came up a little bit short. I still feel like Anthony Edwards as a superstar has some he has a little bit to go as far as being like that superstar who takes you to the damn near to the playoffs every year. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I believe that the Timberwolves are a playoff team, but at the same time, I don't know that they're as good as what they were supposed to be last year. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get it back going. Hopefully Anthony Edwards finds his flow even more. I know he's scoring the ball well, but just looking to be more efficient and having those buckets that actually help a team win, not buckets to just add to your point total, because there is a difference. You know what I mean? So we'll move past that game. Like I said, Timberwolves won. We called that one right. And we'll move on to the Jazz versus the Thunder. Yesterday I told y'all Shea is gonna be Shea. You know what I mean? The Thunder's their roster right now is not complete. They're missing players. Some players are day to day. But with that saying, superstars do what superstars do. Shea came out, had 54 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and they ended up, you know what I mean? They went ahead and took it to the Jazz, which was expected. But at the same time, you got to remember, everybody out there is professional. So there is no guarantees. That's the reason why SGA is cold, though. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why y'all should watch him. Made a lot of great moves. He's not somebody who forces the three. He's really good in the mid-range, but why is he good in the mid-range? I think he's good in the mid-range because he actually has ball handling. He actually has a skill set that allows him to get to certain places on the court. I think that a lot of people who end up settling for threes are straight to the basket all the time. Usually they either don't have a great court vision, so they don't understand when or where they're open at or where the defense is lacking at, or they just don't have the skill set to get to that area, so everything's a force. I either got to shoot up a tough three or I got to go to the rim where it's extremely tough at. I know that this is big within the basketball world. It's all the way down to high school kids where it's just threes or lays. They think that the mid is bad. I don't see that. I see the mid as being an area where great players play at. You know what I mean? Great players can step into the mid and make shots. They can hit floaters. They can hit the pull-up jumpers. They can finish at the rim, and they can hit the three. So stop limiting yourself. Make sure that you're developing your whole game. And once again, you get those ideas from watching the best players in the world. So sit down, maybe give this a chance. You feel me? SGA, he put on the show, though. Like I said, 54 points. That's not easy to come by. You know what I mean? So shout out to them. That was fun to see. You know what I mean? Then we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna transition into the next game, which is the Hornets versus the Grizzlies. A lot of people feel like LaMelo is a top 5 guard at this point. I'm still not seeing him be a top 5 guard. He's extremely fun to watch play, but there are times where he's inconsistent with the things that he's doing. I don't know that his break off is nice, obviously. You know what I mean? He's got handle for sure, but I think that I don't know that it leads him to great shots sometimes. You know what I mean? I think that he settles a little bit too. When you look at this game, you see that you know what I mean? The Grizzlies they were solid across the board. You know what I mean? There was a lot of guys who scored in double digits for the Grizzlies. Bane, several guys, you know what I mean? Ja Morant came and he led his team. He ended up with 16 points and 13 assists. The reason why I highlighted that is not because obviously he was not the leading scorer for his team, but question for a lot of you guards or a lot of you players who are trying to be big time is how aggressive do you have to be to get 16 points and 13 assists? You know what I mean? People look at assists and they just think of passing or, he passed it to a guy who was open. That's not always how assists work, and that's not how the greatest players or the greatest point guards in the league work. They break down defense, they pull defense toward them, and when they pull defense toward them, they find people for easy ones. Doesn't always have to be a kick out three. Sometimes it's a drop off, sometimes it's a lob, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just, it's playing basketball the right way. Drives and kicks are great. Drive and kick for threes are great, but at the same time, I feel like it hinders some people. I feel like that's all they look for. I think that people need to do a better job of cutting to the rim when you have guards like that on your team, because what they're going to do is they're going to find you, and it's going to make your job easier, and it's going to make their job easier, and you guys are going to get easy wins. So, yeah, I would pay attention to those type of things, especially when you're watching Ja Morant play. He's slippery, he's downhill, obviously extremely athletic, but once again, somebody that athletic still shooting a ton of floaters, still getting into that little mid area and making the defense play that guessing game. Do I want Ja to score, or do I want this backside to score on me? So yeah, pay attention to that. It's really good basketball, and it's fun to watch, you know what I mean? I also had wrote down the Bucks and the Pelicans, but crazy part about it is that game was postponed due to the winter issues in New Orleans or whatever. They're getting snow for the first time in forever, so it's like they don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? It's almost kind of funny. It's snowing right now behind me. You feel me? We still gonna drive across the east side, get our work in, but yeah, no, they canceled that game. So interesting to see when they're getting back to it. You know what I mean? Who knows when the snow will melt? But then the last game I actually got to watch, I didn't get to see the Lakers game, but the last game I did get to watch was Sacramento versus the Golden State Warriors. And I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of crazy. I think that Sacramento did a great job on Steph Curry. They really limited his opportunities. They kept a body on him. And then to take it even a step further, I actually like the brand of basketball that Sacramento played so much more than what Golden State did. I feel like at times Golden State did settle for a whole lot of threes, while Sacramento, obviously they're led by De'Aaron Fox or whatnot, being quick, being shifty, getting downhill, things like that. But yesterday I really felt like they leaned into DeMar. You know what I mean? It was like a team that was not willing to shoot a bunch of threes and was going to attack the rim, versus a team that was going to look for threes constantly the whole game. And regardless if they're going in or not, that's our game plan, and that's what we're going to stick to. Like I said, DeMar DeRozan, he had a really solid game, but so did a lot of the other Sacramento Kings. But I just think that it was based on the style of play that they played. Like I said, I think that, once again, it'd be very beneficial for you younger people to, you know what I mean, watch the Sacramento Kings, where they got several guys who are willing to attack the rim. They also shot threes too. It's important they knock some big threes down to help them solidify the win and things like that. But at the same time, DeMar DeRozan did a good job of not settling. He continued to attack the mid-range, got into the mid, broke down the defense. And then I think it kind of leaked over into the other players' game, which helped them come out with the victory. You know what I mean? And I think that that's also kind of why Golden State has struggled for the last couple of years, is because they found this identity a while back, and now your personnel has changed tremendously. It's not the same people over there, so you can't play the same way. Now, of course, you still have Steph Curry, and you got to cater to him. But that does not mean that everybody else on the team has that same green light. Even when you are making shots, sometimes I've seen this, you know what I mean? Somebody hits a three on the team, and I say, man, that's the best thing that could have happened for the other team. And the reason why is because you fall in love with them. Now you're no longer attacking. And it's just a little bit easier to guard you, you know what I mean? So with that being said, it was a great day of games. It was fun. Got every game right that we picked. We're going to come back and do it again today. I'm going to watch more games today, and hopefully y'all turn on these games and, you know what I mean, you get excited about watching them. If anybody has any questions, or if they just want to chime in how they feel about the games on these videos, please do so. I'd love to have your feedback, but we're going to keep doing this. You know what I mean? This is fun. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. We're going to keep killing them. Have great workouts today, and shit, I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.